Welcome gamers to the awesomeness that is Broken Arrow, which just released today. There's some things wrong with the game. I will actually just go through them very, very briefly, and then we'll go through basically how to play the game. Now, it's not going to be... the game is basically designed for, like at its core, for multiplayer experience. I'm not a multiplayer player. You can sort of see through there I've got an ELO score of nothing. I haven't played any multiplayer, and I'm not going to. I never ever will. I doubt that I ever will. It's not. This is the enjoyment I get from these games is not the frantic multiplayer sort of clicking around trying to sort of cover bases and stuff like that. It's just not me. So, but I love playing this in single player, except for three big issues. And I'll just cover them right now. You've probably, if you've been sort of watching anything online, you already know what a couple of them are, or at least one of them. One is that when you do play any of the single player aspects of the game, you do not have the ability to save your progress in game. So you've got to wait till you finish something before you can then basically, well, you don't get to save it. Essentially, the campaign remembers where you left it. And I haven't even finished the first mission in the campaign, which is a problem. It's a big problem. The devs are working on it, so it will be fixed, but it wasn't there at the start. So that's a massive issue. So that's a big negative. The second one is, when you do play single player, you've got the ability to have active or tactical pause, which is great. And I know that people have been hearing that that's not the case, that you don't have it. You definitely do have it. It's brilliant, except for one little thing. It doesn't use the spacebar. Nothing in the game uses a spacebar. But you cannot go into your settings and go to controls and then go and select down through here for the secondary key. I've had to use my left shift, which is not ideal at all. So I'm using the left shift key as my secondary game pause. If I go and click on it and try to press the space bar, it does not recognize it, which is an issue. So I have to use the left shift to actually then go and do that. So that's an issue. Next thing is that I'm going to go back into the actual play style, and I'll talk about these in some detail. There's multiplayer, which is essentially a 6-player up to 10-player. So it's either 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, or 5 versus 5. And the maps are designed for that. For skirmish mode against AI components, this particular mode is like pseudo multiplayer. But I don't know anyone who plays it the way it was designed. Well, the way it was designed was to... actually, I'll just leave them open. Just close them. This was sort of like the basic way that the game was supposed to be played, where you ended up with 3 on one side, human players, all human players, against 3 AI players over through here. Now, if I go and choose a map, I'll just choose any old thing, like Dead Center will be okay. It will then start to flesh things out. Now, I'm just going to go and close off those 2 as well. So that was essentially the minimum a few days ago. But people said, hey, I really want to play this, but I don't want to play it single player. So what they did do, and they always had the plans to do this, so they've gone from 3 down to 2 and 1. So you can actually close all of these off. Now I've got enough players that are ready. It will only choose this one here if I do it this way, but I'll just go and close them off as well. So I can launch this as a 1 versus 1. That's great. That's actually pretty cool, except it's not designed for it. The maps are too big for 1 versus 1. The ideal scenario would be to be able to have agency over which ones are unlocked and then be able to use AI bots on your side as well. That's the ideal. It's not there. So, and hopefully it will be there. There's so many people asking for these things, by the way, so I'm sure it will be. So they're I guess the glaring negatives. There's a few other little ones which I'll also just talk about as we go through. But overall, the game is brilliant. It is so damn good. Like, it's just unbelievably good. But anyway, that's sort of like, you can do 1 versus 1. It's a good way to test the battle groups that you build, and we'll just go through basically how to build the battle groups and what to look for. I'll just go through and just give some tips about that. If you are, whether you're playing multiplayer or single player, it's important that you actually understand how battle groups work and the role of your battle group. So I'll go through and cover that actually probably next. But in this case, this is the map is too big to really be able to make good use of this particular mode. It will be fixed. But the other thing with this one, when you do play this mode, even if you do play it 1 versus 1 or single player, you do not have the option to use the time controls, like the tactical pause, the active pause, whatever you want to call it, and then you can also slow down time or speed up time. You don't have access to that, and I think that needs to be added in if it's a single player. If there's one person playing, in this mode, that should be there at the top of the screen when you do go and play it as well. So I'm finding this is a frustrating exercise for me. I don't like it. So it's got to change. No, I'm only joking. But it is frustrating. So I hope that they do fix this. It's certainly for people who prefer single player, and I know there's a lot of you that are actually playing the game that way, which is actually really awesome. Because I thought I'm going to be the only person in the world that will actually play this as a single player game, and love it. But I'm actually not. I know there's a lot of you out there. Certainly there's squillions of you out there who love the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is fantastic. Like in terms of if you like that, you're going to really, really enjoy this game. It's been made for you. It has not been made really for the single player at this stage, but it's so damn close. There's really nothing much to sort of worry about. But this is like an extension of the multiplayer, but with AI coming in to sort of then against you. Back and through here, you've got different difficulty settings back and through this other side. You can then sort of change what you're actually going up against, which is actually very, very cool as well. Right, so that's sort of like the negatives out of the way. Let's now go through the positives, because this is a brilliant, brilliant game. Let's just go back to the... I'll just leave the lobby entirely, otherwise it sort of thinks that you're trying to set up a game. So the skirmish at the moment really is designed for co-op mode against AI opponents. If that's what you want to play, you've got a few friends and you're wanting to actually sort of get together and actually just go up against the AI, then that's a good mode. It's also a lot of people have been using that skirmish mode that we're just looking at as a way of testing their builds. 1 versus 1 works well for that, and so you can do it that way as well, just to see what does it feel like going into a multiplayer game with the group that I've got. Like what sort of keyboard commands am I going to give it right from the start to sort of position forces on different maps. So in that sense, it's good for just working out your first moves and seeing how things actually develop. So by all means, that's about all it's good for at the moment. But this could be an incredible system if they do allow AI slots into here, and also allow the pause mechanics in the same area. Anyway, that's that mode. I won't talk about that mode anymore. Back in play, multiplayer, of course, is very similar, where you sort of then go in, create a lobby or join a lobby, and then start to sort of play the game. So that's again, if you're into multiplayer. I mean, I'm never going to play it multiplayer. I just know that. So and if you're watching this video, I would suggest that you may get some tips out of what I'm going to do with the when I actually build a battle group, just so you can sort of see some tips on how to sort of what to look for. That will be applicable in multiplayer to a degree, but other than that, I'll see you guys later because the rest of this is going to be all about the single player aspects. You've got a campaign now. The campaign, people have said, it's only American campaign. It starts off American and then splits into two. You then have the American and then the Russian campaigns as two separate sort of sub-campaigns that come off. But it expects you to go through and do the tutorial campaigns, which for me take hours. And so I haven't even finished the first campaign mission yet. That's why when I go into my campaign, I'm really at the start every single time that I start, because I never have enough time to finish this in one sitting. I'll sit here for an hour and a half, and still not get it done. I've almost got it done a few times, but I then get called away to do other things, and so, I'm very, very time poor, and so not having a save is unbelievably bad. So that is a massive oversight in the game. And I should I'll preface this and sort of say the game is rating around about 75 at the time of recording, and I think that's fair. I think it's a fair score, and I think it's only going to go up when they fix these sorts of things. Overall, the actual game itself is incredibly good. So anyway, let's just go back out. We're going to be playing the scenarios, which I love these. I should just point these out as well. What these are single-player missions that have been curated. So they've been built by other players to sort of give you enemies, but you've got like a lot of agency into what you do when you do come into these different scenarios. They're all quite different as well, so there's a lot of replay value. Also, what you'll find is we've got the 4 in through here that come with the game. If you go into the Steam Workshop and just click on the button through there, you're going to find that this, by the way, 3 days ago when the preview of the game launched, there were 6 missions in here. There are now 208. So there's more and more missions that people are building, and I'm guessing, look, a lot of these may end up being pretty crappy. They're probably people just learning how to actually, use the editor. But eventually, they're all going to have ratings and things like this. Baltisk Defense. This one came out 3 days ago. It's got 118 comments. People are loving it. I don't know how many people have downloaded this particular one. There's been 26,000 unique visitors, 4,000 current subscribers, 4,500 essentially, and a lot of favourites. And so this is essentially like a mission that people are really, really happy with. It's one of the first ones that actually came with the game itself. This is not I don't think this one was built by the developer either. So this is actually this is really cool that this is actually in here. So there's going to be a lot more of this sort of content coming. So you'll be able to sort of cobble together like the best of type missions for the game. So you'll have heaps and heaps of content coming through with the actual game itself. Now, the way it sort of works, you can see there PVE. It says 1 to 2 players. It's really just one player. Where you play as Russia, USA at this stage for the ones that come with the actual game itself. I'll just go back out now, and so we'll be playing one of these missions, and so I've played that one. I might do this refinery invasion and just sort of see how that one sort of plays out. But let's go now to what I find one of the most enjoyable parts of the game, and I certainly spend a lot of time fiddling about with this mode, and that's the arsenal. So if I just go across into the arsenal here, and what you've got an armory of all the units in the game, and there are heaps. Each of these, like if I go and sort of click on any of these, bang, there we go, there it is there. By the way, look at the environment. Like if we have a look, and I'm looking at the sky, it's just after midday where I am, and guess what time it is in this particular mode of the game? It's just after midday. So what they've done is they've actually tied your local time to the environment of this map, which is not it's not mind-blowing, but it's those little details that I really do quite appreciate. And anyway, that's sort of what's happened. When I'm streaming the game, it's my night time, and so this is at night time. I thought I'd just point that out as a little Easter egg there for you guys to sort of see that one through there. So we're seeing it in daylight now, which is actually probably the best way to actually do this. And I think you can override it somehow. I forget where that is. I did have a quick look for it in the settings to see if I could actually see where it was actually, where you could actually go and tweak that one. One thing that I wish that they would add in here is another button to get a text description of what the actual item is that you're looking at, as in terms of the actual the chassis or the group. They've got recon forces back into here, for example. That it would just give you a little bit of information about what it is, and maybe a little bit of history. Like most games have that. This one doesn't have it. It's got everything you need to make decisions. It's just not great in terms of general interest. So that would be very, very cool to sort of have those in there as well. Also, when you go and build a group, the arsenal is really, really it's overwhelming to sort of see what you think you might actually sort of need in the actual game. There's just I don't know how many actual weapons there actually are in here. Like this is a T-14 Armata, which is like a Russian major main battle tank. There's just so many different things into here, and then they have different changes with their you can actually change the loadouts of what they have as well. So even though you've got the basic chassis, so many of these things, including the I don't know if this one's got one. No, that one doesn't have it. Yeah, so this squad loadout that we're seeing through here is essentially like a breach group, a Russian breach team to go into buildings. But then you've got like the thermobaric rockets as well, so this will then sort of change their loadout where they end up with these sorts of RPGs. So again, you can sort of chop and change these sorts of things for when you are building how you're going to play the game. You've got so much you actually have to go through. So we're going to talk about that now, and most of this, it's going to take me probably half an hour really to do it properly. I'll try to do it as fast as I can. If you guys watch any of my videos, you're going to know that I waffle on it too much and spend too much time explaining things. I'll still try to be thorough, but I'll try to be fast. I'll do my best because I know that you guys want to see the actual gameplay. Right, let's get started. So this is not the best way to figure out when you first come in to build your very, very first battle group. This is not where you start. What you want to do is you want to go back to the arsenal and you want to go to Army Builder. And I sort of think that they could tweak this by making some little changes in here that would actually make it so that this is a good place for you to start doing your planning and then you use the builder. The reason that this is great as to do your research is because the army builder doesn't split things out, and that would be another good thing to have in the army builder, so that if you half know what you want to do, you can go straight to the army builder and see the difference. Let's start with the army builder. So what you end up doing is you need to create a new battle group. I'm just going to create one. I'll just call it, what should I call it? Just DAS B, oops, hang on, I've got my caps lock on. DAS BG2, I've got BG1 there already. So we'll just go BG2 and I'll just go USA. So we'll just start there. The USA, the differences in the USA forces are more pronounced than in the Russian forces. So they do play quite differently. The actual different, I actually thought there'd be the equivalency on both sides, and there's not. There is some differences there, particularly when it comes down to infantry. So I was trying to sort of find a similar way of looking at the infantry when I built a Russian force as I did with the USA force. The USA force is much more split into specializations, which is actually interesting, whereas the Russian teams are they're not as long range, or a lot of what I sort of saw there wasn't a hell of a lot of long range. But what we need to do is just get an understanding of how we put this one together. I have to choose a nation. I'm going to choose the USA. And we then need to choose two specializations. And this is so cool. If I sort of hover over this one, you'll see there that it then gives me information about the USMC. This is actually what I would like to see also back in the other aspect as well, to actually be able to sort of affect those or play with those to a degree, would be to be able to sort of see the summary over through here, like the United States Marine Corps is a versatile assault force using amphibious vehicles, helicopters and planes. As I go through them, this is the Armour Brigade, which is mainly about vehicles. This is Airborne Infantry, which is mainly about aircraft. You've got the Striker Cavalry Regiment, which is mainly about support vehicles and infantry. And then you've finally got the Special Ops, which is mainly infantry and helicopters and stuff like that. So these have all got very, very, very specific positives with what they sort of end up doing. And you can actually plan your play style around what you want to do, combining these different forces. You notice that when I've got the Marine Corps, we get a good mix of everything. Recon, infantry, vehicle support, helicopters and aircraft. It all sort of fills up a little bit. When I go to the Armour Brigade, I'm getting very heavily with the vehicles. I'm getting infantry and support, and I'm getting actually a lot of recon. I'm getting no helicopters or aircraft when I actually build this particular mode. And look, I'm somebody who likes to turtle. I like to be able to get into defensive locations, defensive positions, and sort of protect areas. So I move slowly in these games. And so picking the Armour Brigade, ultimately we're going to be moving slowly. We're not going to be moving with the helicopters and things so much as we're going to be moving on the ground with heavy tanks. And so for me, this is almost like a must-have in anything that I put together. So I like this. So what I need to do is, if I go and select that one, I've then got to figure out, okay, I've now got 1,000 points I can spend in recon, infantry, vehicles and support. What else do I want to add in that's then going to support that and actually make it more viable to me? Do I need helicopters and aircraft? There's an argument that I probably don't, but then I may need to have more balance. So depending on what I then choose, if I go back to the US Marine Corps, I get a little bit of the others, but I also then get some pretty cool other aspects coming in. So the Marine Corps, because it's so general, but actually then you can see if I do that, when I end up really getting a very, very fleshed out approach with the vehicles become extremely strong, infantry strong, recon is strong, helicopters and aircraft aren't as much. If I go to the airborne infantry, again we're sort of seeing helicopters and aircraft are certainly higher than with the Marine Corps. We're getting like about another 250 points for helicopters and another 500 points there for aircraft. If I go this way and through here, I don't get up with helicopters at all. Now, I personally find helicopters much more valuable than aircraft, so I probably wouldn't pick that combination, but the support vehicles really go through the roof, and that's again, it's going to change the flavour of how you play the game. And you'll see in just a few minutes why it's so important to actually look at these different things. And then you've got the airborne through here, where if I go and choose that one, we don't have any vehicles of support added in at all with this airborne special ops, but we have very, very good recon, very, very good infantry, along with helicopters and aircraft. So what I think I might do for this run, I might actually just go with an armor and Marine Corps. So we have to choose two. We can't just choose one. I almost wish you could just choose one. And yeah, so anyway, I'll just go and choose that one through there. So this is my total points. I've got up to 10,000 points to spend. I've got 1,500 in recon, 2,000 infantry, 2,700 vehicles, 2,000 support, 750 helicopters, and 1,000 in aircraft. I'm just going to go and create this one, but this is not where I would start. So I mean, I'd start this way, get up to this point where you think you know what you're looking for in terms of the positioning of these. Once you actually understand the role of each of these 6 areas, it will start to make a lot more sense. Now, whether you're playing multiplayer or single player, if you're playing multiplayer, you may want to specialize in a particular area so that you can actually really push that hard in when you do play in the multiplayer environment. For example, you may want to go with something where you actually end up with the aircraft here with the airborne infantry, and then the spec ops in through this other side, and be very, very low on vehicles and support, but be able to very quickly, airdrop troops in, heli drop troops in as well, to be able to very quickly get around the map. So that may be something that's that would be a viable way of playing. You may want to go with the cavalry and whatever, like the cavalry and the Marines, to sort of then mainly sort of get like quick movement through vehicles where you're not really relying much on helicopters. Is the combinations really make a difference. But in this case, if we go with Marines and with Armoured Brigade, I'm going to end up with, basically this is going to be a fairly well-rounded thing, which is great for single player. So I'm just going to go and create that one. Now, it wants me to start to set these up. If I go back into my infantry as an example and click on that one through there, this is all the stuff I can add in with my infantry. The problem with this is I don't know which has come from Marine Corps and which has come from Armoured Brigade. And it's not a major problem, but it's a bit of a problem. And so what I prefer to do, I mean, you can see Marine Raiders there. Yeah, that's definitely going to be, from the Marine side of things. And so there's these aspects where you can make sense of certain things, but it's better to sort of know where they're from. So I wish it would still split the line between the two different areas that you're then dealing with. So that you actually had them segmented, just for your own, mentally knowing, okay, that specializes from that one, this one specializes from the other. It just makes more sense. So when you get to this point, and you've already sort of got an empty group, just go back out to the arsenal, and if I go back to the army builder, you'll see that BG2 USA has got an exclamation mark. This is not ready to go. It's got nothing in it. If I go and click on it, it's empty. So that battle group is incomplete. But what I can do is I can just go back to the arsenal and then go to the armory. I can then go and specialize and say, okay, I only want to see the US Marine Corps and the armor. And then it splits them up. So I've then got everything selected between, this is all of the forces just from the US Marine Corps. So I've got access to all of these, and I've got access to all of these Armoured Brigade things as well. So it gives me a very, very clean look. And I can then even go down, which is what I'm going to have to do with the 6 different areas that we then have to fill out of recon. So I'm now seeing all the stuff from the US Marine Corps in the recon, and I'm seeing all the stuff from the Armoured Brigade in the recon area. If I go down into infantry, I can see the Marine Corps infantry. Back in through this other side, I can then see the Armoured Brigade infantry. Vehicles, I've got only 6 vehicles coming in from the Marine Corps, and I've got 12 coming in from the Armoured Brigade. It's a nice way mentally to know what's going on. Let's talk about what we have to build. What we need to do is there's a few things we need to establish. We need to figure out how we're going to take territory using infantry. Typically, the tanks, you're going to be able to, you should hopefully, well, not hopefully, you may even decide not to do it, but typically the tanks are going to be long range. And you can see there the range in through here. So 1,400 metres for these 120 millimetre main gun on these particular tanks. Most of the tanks that are any sort of reasonable size will be around about that sort of range. So it's long range with what it does do. So we'll come back and do tanks, sort of one of the last things that we end up getting. They're easy to set up because you know that you want something that's going to be heavy hitting, good survivability, you don't really have a specific role for that, other than just being the strongest thing on the battlefield. So that's really what you're going to be wanting to try to achieve if you go with tanks. But there's other things as well. You will be wanting to also try to figure out what support you do require. But typically it's going to be around your infantry that you'll need to sort of figure out what to do with that. And so if I go back to the infantry tab in through here, one thing that's good to look at is actually is do a very, very quick summary of quick appraisal of what you're seeing with the actual force of infantry, or with anything at all really with these. But if I go from the infantry, I'll just go to the assault team in through here. I'll just do a very, very quick. You can see there's 8 members of the in the group in through this other side. A couple of RPGs, we can sort of see different guns. It gives me the actual loadout through here. So there's 8 of the, and if I hover over for long enough, we get an assault rifle, and then from here we have a rocket launcher. Now, the important thing when you're evaluating these, there's really 3 areas that you really need to look at carefully when you're actually just looking at your basic infantry. One is the range of your equipment. And like you may have some that are actually like very, very long range, but it may not have a lot of bullets. This is the number of bullets, or the amount of ammunition that you have. This is the number of weapons you have. You can see we've just got 2 of them in through here. And so they've got 8 of the assault rifles, and then we've got 2 of the s'mores back in through here as well. Their range is 400 meters. This is probably the most important thing to actually evaluate when you're looking at these from the weaponry perspective. The next thing you want to look at is the armor. Now, this is armor points. Higher armor versus penetration means reduced damage. And so what we need there is high armor. It goes up to 10 for the infantry. I don't think I've seen anything above 10. So 6 is not great. These guys are not very survivable. And this is medium range when you look at this sort of stuff. These are general sort of forces that aren't very, they can't really fire at anything beyond short to medium range. These are pretty much short range type units with very, very weak armor. There's 8 of them in the group. They're the important things. How many you've got? What's the armor? And what's the range? So when we quickly go through, I can just sort of see that one there does have a rocket launcher. It can protect itself. It's got reasonably good penetration. That's the other thing we want to have a look at, is the penetration of the weapon. And so it can protect itself within 400 meters. Next one is the cat dragons back and through this other side. And oh, by the way, sorry, there is actually the squad loadout. So I can then go and change from a s'more to a straw. If I go and spend the extra through there, I've then got like a different. These guys here are now using the. They're sort of like, there's 8 of them on with them on their backs. These ones go up to 600 meters, and so these ones here are rocket launchers as well. So they've actually got, these are better. They cost 20 extra points to sort of go and do that one. It makes them more survivable with what they're doing, so it may be better, but they've still got the same problem there with the armor. So just sort of be aware that would be an option. The dragons in through this other side, we've again just hover over. This will be an anti-tank missile. The range is 1,000. You'll see through here it's got like a Browning machine gun, 800, 600, 400. These are long-range weapons. These are long-range fighters. These actually look pretty good. Their low armor doesn't really matter that much because they're going to be trying to engage the enemy at longish range. So we're looking at a long-range thing through there. I can change the loadout to the Javelin top attack missile. So they end up with Javelins back and through this other side, which I think, again, will just sort of allow them to have a little bit more abilities with the anti-tank side of things. They're still going to have the assault rifle. They've got some of the they've got a medium machine gun in there as well. They've got 6 assault rifles, a medium machine gun, a Browning, and the Javelin back and through there as well. There's only 4 shots with the Javelin, so just be aware, but the Javelin is devastating once it actually sort of hits pretty much anything. It's going to do a lot of damage. So that's also viable. Again, just choosing the different loadouts, but just getting a feel. So we're looking at long range there. This one here, we're looking at a specialized. These will all be moving at about the same speed. Again, 8 and 6. We're talking weak forces for the infantry. So 8 and 6 in through there is weak. This is long range again. We've got anti-tank through there again as well. Good range. That's actually sort of works fairly well. We can change the loadout to a TOW 2B back through there as well. So we've ended up with something a bit different again. So it's got the different sorts of abilities back and through there again, different costs as well. The Marine Raiders. This is now, we're now hitting the straps. This is, from what I can see, is the best of the ground fighting forces in the game. When you look at this one, 14 members, 10 armor, So great armor, great number of actual units. So the survivability goes very, very high. When we have a look at it, we've got 8 assault rifles in the mix. We've got some we've got grenade launchers with a couple of those as well, and so they actually do a fairly good penetration, 300 meters though. So we're looking at short range, 300, 300, 200, 300. This is a short range attack group. They're strong, but they're short range. Back through here, we have a shotgun. When you see a shotgun in any mix, you are talking about city attacks. You're talking about urban warfare. These guys fight incredibly well hand to hand. So this is like if you're trying to take over objectives where there's buildings, these are the guys you want to have rushing in to actually do that if you can. So when you see shotgun, that means urban warfare, it typically, because everything else will be around, like fairly small. Even the rocket launcher is only 300 meters. I can change the loadout. I've got from close quarters, which is essentially doing city attacks, to down to across to standoff. We lose our shotgun, and we now go from 400 to 600. This now changes it from medium long range. And not city attacks. It's no longer specialised for city attacks. This is now great. If you've got a map where you've got like lots and lots of forest, for example, this is the group you want to then have fighting in that area. So, but you do need a mix. Like you will need some way to attack urban centres. And at this point in time, you've got either one of these two loadouts. This is very general. This is really important to actually understand what you want for your force in through here. Being this one actually you can see there the armor has gone down. Close quarters we've got higher armor, but 8 is still good. So it's the survivability of this one is very, very good. It's just going to be more out in the open. They're not going to fight well inside buildings, whereas the other one will. So that's actually just again having a bit of a look. The Marines in through here again as well. Just have a quick look at there. So they've got standard, and then they've got the reservists back in through this other side. The standard does actually cost a little bit more. There's 13 of these. These are I've got 8 protection. The reservists are down to 6, still with the 13. And so you probably do want to choose the standard in through here as well with what they have. They've got 400 meters. These are again short to medium. They're not going to be good going into buildings, but these will be okay. Pretty much just around the map, but they're not going to be able to fire beyond 400 meters. And that's important to realise that as well. You do need some that fire long range, some that are great for actually attacking into buildings. And so the Marines are actually got a good combination of different types of units. By the way, when you do specialise with what you're trying to build, you will need to, once you get a loadout, you can't then make some forces that are a little bit of the close quarters and a little bit of a standoff. You have to choose one or the other. So just be aware of that. And quite often, you'll choose that one based on what you can then make up out of your armour brigade units, or whichever one you then go and choose. If we go to mech engineers, these are our shotgun guys again as well. We've got only 6 members in this one, so we've got like less than half of the Marine Corps. But these will be great. Sending mech engineers inside buildings to then take them out because they've got shotguns. So we could actually use mech engineers for the urban and Marines set with the other operation to then go and attack outside. Mech riflemen back in through here, looking at 400 meters, again, just middle of the road with everything. We don't get to sort of change any of those different things. That's not bad. It's only 6 armor though, and only 6 units, so nothing great. The mech riflemen back in through this other side, they do have stingers. This is the first anti-air that we've seen. So we do actually have an anti-air aspect of this particular group from the ground. Not that that's important, by the way, for this, but it can be just a little bit helpful if you do need to be trying to sort of bring them down. So we could use the anti-air mech rifleman. We also have the mech rifleman machine gun group, which has got a 600. It's got 2 of the recoilless, I think it's recoilless, medium machine gun back in through there at 600. So this one actually can fire at long range. Now, the reason I'm talking about all these ranges and things with what they're doing, and this one again has got very, very weak armour, only 6 units in it. When you take a location, if you are looking down a road and you can see beyond 300 metres, you cannot sit back and use mech engine, or 400 metres in this case. What were some of the others that had 300 metres? This one here. It's pointless having, even though these are strong and they've got 14 members and all that sort of stuff, if someone can attack them from more than 300 metres away, they're basically going to be killed, and there's not going to be any damage that they can do back the other way. And so when you take a location, always think in terms of that unit has to move back to an area where it can see within 300 metres to be able to then be effective with its fighting. And so don't leave it in an exposed position, even though you may have had to go in and take that exposed position, fighting inside a building with that particular group. Don't leave it there, because it will just get killed off at range by whatever else comes along the road. So you do need a combination of different arms for your infantry. It's very important to know what you can then go and do. Also, just with that one, have a quick look at the recon and just see what the infantry is that you have in here as well. So, for example, we have cavalry scouts. There's only 3 members in this particular group, but these are actually armed with a javelin, and there's 3 javelins that they can then fire off from here. And so this is a very, very effective anti-tank. You can see they're very, very high penetration. These are devastating, but only really against, say, one target. So they're an interesting mix because they need to keep on going back and getting those javelins set up. The rest of it is just 400 metres. So these are great for scouting. The scouting I'll talk about in just a minute when we talk about the US Marine Corps scouts. But in this case, we've only got 1 cavalry scout, which is actually pretty good. We've got the force recon back in through here as well. So this one here has got, like, it's medium range, even with this is a marksman's rifle, which is not a sniper rifle, but it's sort of getting there. It does a little bit of damage at sort of medium range. These, again, are good. There's 6 members in this particular team. They don't see that far, to be honest, and their stealth rating in through here is not that great. 3 is the best I've seen. If we go to the scout snipers, we're looking at 3. We're looking at good range that we can then go and see. There's only 2 members in here. They fire at 500 and 800, so these are sort of long range for infantry. So these can actually fire on infantry outside the range that the infantry would be able to fire on them. So these are a good addition as well. So just knowing that from our infantry perspective gives us a bit of a head start. Now, one of the things, if you are coming in, if you see they can also, like, laser direct, they can use laser targeting, so they can actually help with munitions that may be able to sort of see the need to see the target. I don't know if the others can. No, that one doesn't, and the cavalry scouts don't either. So that one there can actually help as a forward observer to be able to sort of set up for for specific sort of attacks on things. So you can actually tell them to not fire. They can just use their stealth. They've got a very high stealth rating. This number here, 3, is like, so the number of what something can look at is then divided by the number of for stealth to be able to then go and see it. So if we're looking at this one, we're looking at they're not going to be spotted really by most things until they're within about 700 metres. So they can get in, they can sort of sit on the periphery and laser target things and then bring in artillery or whatever else it might be to then open things up. So that's, God, I've already spent over half an hour. I wanted to get through this one pretty fast. That's the infantry. Know what they can do. Also, what will often happen is when you go and choose them, you will actually have other equipment that you can bring back in. We have other different types of. We've even got tanks that are viable as a scout type tank. They're still very, very strong, so we can use these. Using the armour brigade, we end up with some interesting additions to the recon force. The big thing I wanted to talk about, though, was once you've actually sort of at least got a bit of a feel for everything, have a look at the support role. There's 3 things you need to cover with your support role. The first big one is moving supplies around the battle map. You will actually have, in this case, I know that it's going to be this one through here, which is essentially just a transport, which is going to be able to bring in 15,000 tonnes of supply. It does have a bit of an armour package and self-defense package, but when you've got that much supply that you can bring in, that's way too much from a... you don't want these going into the front line. These are very, very weak in terms of their armour. Armour package, we can actually go with, we've got the A kit armour, we've got the B kit armour, which costs a little bit more to go and grab that one, and that's just going to change what the armour does, but it's still bringing in the same amount of stuff. It's just going to cost a little bit more, so you may want to sort of do that. Self-defense weapons, you can actually add machine guns, but like the grenade launcher, if I go and click on that one through there, go back and click on this one to see what it can actually then go and do. It's important to know, particularly with your support vehicles, what they're specialised in. This is a direct shot. It has to see what its enemy is. It's not as if it's like a mortar or artillery where it can actually just lob it over the top of a roof and then hit something else on the other side. So you don't want these things in that doing what it's doing. So you're probably better off just keeping it empty and just keeping it well and truly out of the fight. We then actually have these smaller trucks back into here. And again, we have a different sort of armour package. We've got the flatbed multi-purpose. We also have the armoured troop transport. Now, these ones carry 6,018 troops in through here as well. If I go to the armoured troop transport, we end up with halving what we can then carry, but we do get better protection for the units that are inside this. So the units inside can then go into the cabin at the back. Still can carry 18 troops, which is, essentially a Marine Corps group if we do need that. So, but only 3,000. That's actually probably viable, to be honest, to go and do that one. You could use the big one to bring out a major stockpile in the rear areas, and then use the other trucks to transport them out to the front line. So you do need to be thinking in those terms. If you are playing with just Armour Brigade, they've only got this one through here, 5,000. It's this one does have a self-defense weapon again, another grenade launcher, but that's going to be a direct shot. So it's not really. I'm just going to go back to empty in that case. This is 5,000, but it can't transport troops around. So, whether the troop transporting aspect is important or not, probably actually isn't. It may be things like this aquatic movement may be more viable. I don't know if the other one. No, these aren't amphibious, but these ones here are. That could be useful to bring supplies across a water course, so through rivers and things. So you may end up with one of these and a group of these, or a few of these and a heap of these things to sort of get your supplies around the place. So that's the first use for your support. The second use for your support is anti-air, because it's probably the most effective way of having the air. So if I just go through each of these, I'll just go back to here. And if I just hover over again, we can see that that's got a mortar, so that would actually be able to lob. That's actually something that's actually the third thing, is to actually get some sort of artillery that's actually going to be useful for you. Ideally, you want to be able to potentially pop smoke in whatever you're going to be firing in, and this mortar doesn't do that. If we go back to the weapons package. Yeah, I've got the mortar. I've got this one through here, which is different again. So that's actually just going to be an MLRS, so missile type system, back and through there. So it's just going to fire missiles from within the actual from within what that one is. But this one here is like essentially just a mortar that can fire up to 800 meters. So good support for that. What that one actually does do. So getting artillery is also important. This one here, LAVs, have got the Stinger missiles, which are great against air. To find out what the viability is, you need something that can shoot down jets. You need something that can shoot down helicopters, and also potentially missiles. And the Stinger should be able to do all three of those. So if I just go and click on this one, I then get the information, click on Stinger, and I can then hover over. This one actually does a good job against helicopters and against jets. So we've got aircraft. That would be good enough for me, like in terms of what I'd be wanting. So this one here I'd be very happy with that one. The LAVL has only a machine gun. If I just go to the weapons, there's nothing much in through there. The grenade launcher is a direct shot, so you have to be able to see what you're doing. I'll just leave that one back where that one was. Just go back out again. And this one, the LAV through this side, just have a quick look and see what it can then go and do. This is actually a mortar that does have a lot of smoke. This is actually very, very viable. If we are using like bunker buster type infantry, or the guys that have to rush into buildings, if we can really cover the area in smoke before they rush in, their survivability goes way, way up. And so having these guys supporting a rush is very important. That's, again, we're talking artillery. So we only really have the LAV with the Stinger missiles as the method of protecting against aircraft. When we have a look at this one here, we've got this one here has also then got like a very, very long range gun. This is artillery with smoke. Smoke can be really, really important. Just in terms of when things sort of whether you're playing multiplayer or single player. The paladins are going to be artillery, and again we're looking at we do actually have some smoke, not a hell of a lot. I'll be able to probably change things if I wanted to. Got sort of other things in through that side as well. This one here, again, another mortar with good smoke in through this other side, 2,000. So these are much more long range, what we're sort of seeing. This one here is essentially a chain gun that is going to be able to shoot down, I would assume, aircraft. So yeah, we can actually shoot down infantry. normal vehicles, helicopters. We can also even get to, with this one, missiles. So this is a great at actually being able to just shoot everything. So that one's the PVADs there is actually not too bad at all. This is a missile system. Again, if I just go back to the summary, you can see down through there, this is going to be an MLRS, so this is going to be more to do damage in areas on the map. And that's going to be another one as well. We've already spoken about the transports. The linebacker has Stinger missiles again, so it's got 12 of those. Again, a very, very good way of actually sort of taking out air threats. So you've got like a few different things, and you also got the Patriots as well. This is up to 4 kilometres away. And the Patriot in through here, surface-to-air missile, but these are big surface-to-air missiles. And if we have a look at the mix for this one through here, again, we're not looking at helicopters. These aren't only good for helicopters, but they're good for missiles and also for aircraft. So for single player, you probably won't really need these much, as long as you've got things covered with the others. So I wouldn't bother with the Patriots of getting those. Really, it's not really going to be a very viable for you. But using the arsenal to actually be able to see these things gives you a bit of a feel for what's going to go on. I'm going to just go and flesh out. I'll probably pause it because I've now spent 45 minutes and we haven't even got into play any of the game yet. So I'm just going to go and flesh it out, and I'll then explain what I've done and why I've done it. But just knowing where the mixes are, particularly with the infantry, the vehicles, things like that, where the differences are between them. Try to figure out why they're specialised in certain areas between these different things, and then try to find a really good combo with everything that's actually in there if you can. So I'm going to go back to the Arsenal. I'm going to go back to the Army Builder. I'm going to go back to BG2 USA with the specialisation, which I haven't built before. So I'm just going to go back across and go and edit. I can now start. I'll just show you the start of this one through here. Now, we already know that we're probably going to end up with the infantry being specialising around the Marine. This is Marine Raiders. Actually, we would have more than that, to be honest. Oh, there's the Marines down there. So Marines, we see they're 813. Actually, that's not what I wanted. Marine Raiders. This was the specialisation we had, 14. I thought we could get more than 2. That's all we can get. So these guys, I want them to be the more the standoff loadout. So the sort of medium long range loadout, so they can sort of be generally good around the place. But I can only have 2 of them, so these are going to be quite important for me to then go and make use of. I can grab them with this vehicle or on foot, one of the 2. If I grab this vehicle and choose the vehicle, I can then often choose things for getting better survival. But what do we end up getting? We got a grenade launcher through here. So I do actually have a grenade launcher with this one that travels up to 800, and this is a good Browning as well. So these are actually good support vehicles for my Raiders. Actually, this actually works quite nicely, having these 2 weapons as part of what it does do. It's not going to really protect it much against tanks, but the units themselves can do good against that. So I'm just going to go and drag that one up. I'm just going to max that one out, and I might as well max this out as well. So you don't have to choose this. I can even, ultimately when you play the game, the things you bring in here will be, you'll be mixing and matching those, for whatever forces you have. So if we end up with with an M113 transport, from these guys, they could, if they can. No, they can't actually have enough seats to be able to carry these guys around. But you can mix and match your transports. So just be aware of that as well. All right, I'm just going to go through and flesh this out, and I'll come back and just do a quick summary of what I've decided to do. It does take a bit of time to do it, but you learn a lot about what the units in the game will then go and do. Okay guys, so this is what I've gone for. Now you'll notice that some of these are actually overweight with what we have. We're slightly over the limits, so we're just 20 over the 1500 in through here. We're 20 over this one as well, handful over this one with the vehicles, etc, etc. Now if I go in and just sort of push this around, there is a cut-off that it won't let me do 2 different things. I've got to keep the total under 10,000. I can go over slightly. This is actually okay. But if I go into, say, for example, the supports, go and click on this one through here and start to add more, when I go over 10,000, it's going to then have a problem through there. And if I go too far here as well, we're going to have an issue there. And it's going to still let me save it, but it won't be viable. I won't be able to use this in multiplayer. I don't know if I can use it in single player. I haven't actually tested that. But this is When it's like this, that's all fine. I'll just go and save that one. So let's go back through now and just talk about what we've actually then got. So with the cavalry, with the recon, I've got the cavalry scouts, mainly for the javelin. I'll just go back to here, mainly for the javelins. That's the main reason I've got those. And also they can sort of be used for spotting. They're only a small team. I'm not using any other equipment with these. So I've got, these are all just going to be on foot. Scout snipers as well, longish range, good vision, good ability to hide, and so I can use these for laser guiding if I need to, or anything else. I can just sort of use them as a way of keeping things out of the way, but still keeping tabs on what we can then go and see. So I can even stop them from firing if I needed to. Force recon, these are just going to be sort of like general recon at this stage, just to come back through. Again, medium range with what they're going to be doing through there. And then I've brought in two of these scout tanks, which are very, very strong. They've got very, very good armor. So I'm going to be almost using them to supplement my tank forces with the way that they can then come in. For the infantry, I've only had two of the infantry raiders, those really, really powerful groups. I only had two of them. I've gone, rather than going with the urban assault team, I've gone with the more medium range team. So I've gone with that one there to make them sort of more general purpose, but they're not going to be good in urban areas. So to counter that, I've got four of the mech engineers. When I saw I only had two of these, I decided to make them general and then use the mech engineers, which have got the shotguns, to clear the urban areas. So that's what their job will be. And you'll see there's actually, I've got weaponry, this one has got like this one seats 21, this particular vehicle that's actually going to be bringing this one around. And so we've got we do actually have like better armor on this particular vehicle. It's just really just mainly for transport. I just needed something that was big enough to drag these around. So when I got the opportunity to get these, I've got them a couple of times. I got them there, and I also got a couple back over when I got the four dragon teams as well. So that with the dragons, there's 8 in that group, but I could go and grab another couple of these. So I just got another group of those in there as well. We can mix and match with those, which aren't really a problem. With the mech engineers, again, they're going to be assault. So for their support, I've gone in with essentially with a fairly long-range support anti-tank missile vehicle, which can then try to give them some sort of support at distance. One thing we don't actually have with this one is the ability to lob smoke in, so we'll need to figure out a way around trying to get smoke in if we have to. I've also got the maximum number of reserve Marines, so I've gone with the cheapest of the Marines in through here. These are just medium. I'm just going to use them to plug gaps. They're not really going to be critical. They're going to be sort of fairly expendable, to be honest. They're fairly cheap in terms of what we have. Even the mech engineers are fairly cheap in terms of the actual cost overall. They're just going in on foot. Vehicles, we've got some big battle tanks in through here. So I've got this one here with the main battle tank, very, very good armor. I've got the next one as well. Again, very good armor, not quite as good, but almost the same. So I've got 6 of those tanks. Combine that with the big tank up through here, and we've got a real lot of tanks we can then bring in if we have to. Going to be costly though to bring them in. Then we've got again, a track-on-wire sort of anti-tank missile system that can then sort of sit in behind it, an M91, so 901. And so this is going to be essentially the support for the tanks to be able to then fire at even longer range if required. And then we've got the assault breacher, which does have the ability to use these like this sort of cannons in through here at 800 meters. And so I probably end up using this a lot in combination with the mech engineers, maybe, just to sort of try to give some sort of support back that way. For support vehicles, we've got I've got 3 of these small transports. I've got 2 of these large transports. I had so much to spend here, so I went a bit crazy. PVADs for the anti-air. Got LAVs for the further anti-air with some hydras in there as well for anti-tank, so we can actually sort of make use of those. I've got the M1287s in through this other side with the ability to pop the smoke. This will be the one that we actually do use to try to sort of smoke up areas before the mech engineers go in. So that one will work in with the mech engineers. I've got 4 of those, and then I've got a SHORAD in through here just because I needed to find something to spend the points on. Again, we've got Hellfire anti-tank missiles in through there as well. This will be a fairly long range sort of standoff vehicle. Probably good to again help the tanks. For helicopters, I've only gone with 1 of those. It's a bit of a waste, to be honest, with what I've actually done. I may tweak that and even just get 2 more. Rather than going in with an attack helicopter, I just wanted to have an attack helicopter. But in reality, I probably should have gone with 2. I don't have enough points to be able to get to plus a transport. I think I'm going to go back and change that. I'm going to ditch those. So I'm just going to get rid of them entirely. I'm just going to go and add in more of these. So I'll end up with more of the transports. That takes me up to 600, that'll do. So I'm still a little bit under with what we had in through there. So that just gives me a couple of very heavy transports with where I can bring in teams of infantry, or I can bring in a fair bit of weight as well. So I can sort of make use of this one just to very quickly transport. I could go in with little things like the Venom. It only carries 8. The others here, 30. Yeah, the others are sort of probably a little bit too... Like this one is another attack chopper. That one there, the Super Cobra. It's fairly cheap, actually. Very, very cheap. Maybe we do that. If I grab 2 of those, with what we end up having, I think I might do that actually, and then we'll just move some of these back. I'll just get 1 each of those. That still keeps me under there. Can I get 3? No, I go over. Okay, I'll just go with 2. That sort of still works in terms... I could go and change the pylons in through this other side, but I'm sort of happy enough with what I've got through there, so that's okay. Just leave that one where that is. That's it. That's pretty much our setup with what we're going to be going in on. I'll just save that again, and so that's the overall force. So I'm now familiar with what my guys can do and what roles I want the different units to do. And again, when you get the mix, it's going to be quite unique. This is what makes this game. One of the great things about this game is this ability to actually build something that will do something very, very particular in mind. Let's go back out and start our actual game. So just go back out to the play area, and we're going to go into scenarios. So when I come into this, I'm going to then talk about the specifics. We're going to do this one here where we can play as the USA Refinery. I've never played this before, so I've got no idea what this is like. I'm going to go with medium difficulty. I'm going to go to the battle group selection here with the DAS BG2 USA that we just had built. The map could define sort of what we end up needing to do with this one. This one was made by the devs, so this one, the creation date was actually a little while ago, but then updated just a couple of days ago. This will be interesting to see how this one actually plays. Let's get into it, I guess. So we'll just go and play the scenario. Now, I'm going to immediately pause the game. Now, I've got my pause set to left shift. I did explain before that really we need spacebar for doing that one. And as soon as it comes in, I'm just going to pause it straight away. I can just click on the button up in the top corner. Maybe I'll just do that so you can sort of see it when you do come in. Again, you can't do this in multiplayer, but all the single player should have this. All the single player should be able to save the map that they're on. Bang, let's just save that one. And... sorry, I just had a phone call. Yeah, actually, I remember this from when the game first was in beta testing. This is actually the map that was the original beta test map. This is cool. It's like an old friend. And there was always anti-air in here, from what I can remember. Anyway, this is. I'll just go through what we can sort of see. So we've got the game paused up through this other side. You can change the speed down to quarter speed. So first click will take it to half speed, second click will take it to quarter speed, but it won't release that until you actually sort of then go and do anything else there. I'll just leave it at full speed for now. Getting some glitches there with the graphics, but that's the only one I can sort of see through that side. You've got a lot of control over what you do with the graphics in the game. So again, any single player game absolutely must have this in it, the active or tactical pause, and every single player game must have save game. Must have it. So anyway, that's they're 2 things that are missing. I have to play this whole mission out. Otherwise, it's sort of like, it's still fun to play, but it's something that is important for us to have a look at. Let's have a quick look. The way it works is by default, and some of the missions can change with this one, but you do actually have, like, start off with 1,000 points by default, and then you have a rate of points that you get per minute. So it's important to actually sort of only use minimum forces until you need to bring things in, because the less you bring in, the faster that goes up, and then it means that when you do need them, you can bring the most forces in, whether it's multiplayer or single player. Multiplayer, you're still going to be wanting to get a lot of forces out initially. 1,000 points is not really enough. Remember, you've got 10,000 points to spend. Once you get to 5,000 points, it then sort of stops entirely. So just be aware of that as well. Like once you've got a total of 5,000 points on the battlefield, That's pretty much it. On the map itself, we've got to take checkpoint Alpha, which is this area back in here. Now, I'm going to need to fight my way through potentially this city. I'm not, and this was not a mission that I've ever played, but I do remember the map. So this map is sort of fairly much one of the early maps in the actual game itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm getting little artifacts. I might just see if I can fix that. I should just quickly talk about what's happening here. It's actually the zebra crossings. When I get out to a certain level, they're then sort of vibrating. You can sort of see them vibrating there. I can't really fix it, unfortunately. It's just a artifact that's actually in this particular map. One thing I did actually have problems with, and I will just mention this one now. You can see we've got artifacts in Windows here as well, just sort of clicking in. The default settings were a problem for me. I've got an AMD driver for my graphics. If I just go back up to the settings and through here again, and I'll just go back to what the image scaling for me was off by default. And if I just go and apply that and just go back and resume, that's what I was seeing all the time using the AMD drivers, which is very, very off-putting. Like you can see all the little dots everywhere. Like it's fine when I start to move. As soon as I stop, a second later, bang, up they all come with any of the buildings. So if you are having that problem, the fix for that literally is just to go into your settings and just pretty much change any of the image scaling aspects to like quality, balance, performance. I just went with quality, apply, and then back, and then resume, and it gets rid of that sort of artifact. So I thought I may be able to sort of tweak it with the same thing that we actually had in there, but it's not going to fix it. Right, so we've gone through how this one works. When I click on it, I can then start to bring in different groups based on what we're seeing. Now, I mentioned before that it's a mix and match sort of system when you do bring units back in. I'll just see if I can't really sort of show that in a clean way. But if I'm going to be wanting to get recon out and about, looking for the enemy, so this is going to be something we're going to need to sort of have them rocketing through. Now we do start with spawn for aircraft, spawn for helicopters, and a spawn there for the ground forces. So I'm going to be wanting the ground forces to sort of move along here, along this road, and also move up towards the objective. So I'm going to be needing to go a few different ways. I don't know what I'm going to find or where the enemy is going to be, so I'm going to need to bring in a group. I'm going to need to bring in a whole range of different sorts of scout type vehicles to be able to then sort of see what's going on. When I click on a unit, let's just say we go to the cavalry scouts, which have got the javelins. I should probably end up with the snipers out and about initially, so I might sort of bring them in, and I'll try to keep them in vehicles. I didn't really bring any really little vehicles with me. If I go to the scouts, the snipers, and if I say, okay, look, I'm going to throw them all into one of my vehicles. This particular vehicle, again, we can see there 21 units can actually ride in that one. I want to save these for when I actually have like the bigger marine groups that need to go in as well. So I'm going to keep them back. I do have a Bradley there, which will sit 6. The scout snipers have only got 2, so I can actually get 3 teams into one of these. And these have got reasonably good protection. So I think I'll actually maybe take one of those. I can even put them onto the helicopters or have them go in on foot. So there's not a hell of a lot of choice that I have with these at this point in time. But I can just go and for example, grab a Bradley and then just go and put in, I can get 3 of those in there into the one Bradley. You can see there that the seating is now full. So I could do that. In fact, I think I will do that. And I'm going to move that one into this mode in here. I can then click and drag to have it face whichever way I want it to go. So I'll just go and get the Bradley into that area. So that's where that one will then go. Sorry, I'm looking after him. Dog sitting. I'm just going to go and check on him. All right, my wife's just got home. That's why he was whimpering. He's been quiet all the time, and now he's all of a sudden putting on a bit of an act. So the first thing my wife asked me was, has he been like that all day? Like, has he been doing that all afternoon? No, only now. Just firing for effect. Okay, so we've got the Bradley there with 3 different teams on board. The other way I can do this is if I can't mix and match. So if I go back into my recon teams, you can see I've still got 1 scout sniper. I can keep that one back there. I probably want to get some of these force recon units back in there as well. If I go and click on those, I've still only got sort of like limited forces to actually transport them around. If I go to my helicopters as an example, this is the other way you can sort of start to mix and match things. If I go into one of these, like the King Stallion or the Osprey or whatever it might be, and where I've got like 30 seats in through here, I can actually drag this in and and then mix and match the forces that I want to put on board this if I wanted to. Now, I don't want to do it, but this is the way I can then go and do it. So you can, with helicopters, you can do it that way. You can't really do it with support vehicles. It doesn't really work that way because they don't use passengers. Do any of these have passengers? No, they don't. So none of these can actually sort of go around and pick up other forces. We'll be wanting to bring in a tank. I've only got 500 points left, by the way, with what we've already just done with that one little group, the Bradley plus the scouts. And I do want the scouts out and about from this area just to start to sort of have a bit of a look through. And I want to sort of save up a little bit of what we're seeing in through this other side. I'll just go back to the vehicles. I wouldn't mind getting some sort of tank. Oh, sorry, I've still got 600 there. I thought that was a bit light on. Now, we may need mech engineers for clearing out this area, but let's actually wait and see what we end up with. We do also have the dragons. We've got the reserve, but I've got these marine raiders. I'm thinking I'm going to bring out one of those and maybe one of the tanks. I might get the recon tank, which is a little bit lighter. Let's go and drag that one up there as well. So we'll just go and position this one in this position there as well. I'll just go and drag that one back onto the road. So this is just giving the indicator of where they're going to actually end up going. Now, if you're playing multiplayer, you sort of have to you've got 1 minute to sort of set up exactly what you want to have coming through. But in this case, we've got it on pause, so we've got no problem. And I will actually be able to get a Marine Raider plus one of these guys. So I'm just going to go and throw one of those in as well, one of that combination there. Again, I could tell it to go in on foot. But let's just go and drag that up there. Now, I'm sort of assuming this is going to be where I'm going to be wanting to sort of stage things a little bit. So I'll just go and place it there. I'll keep on moving these things around. I've gotten rid of the first group that we had. I think I may have right clicked on it. Oh no, we've got sort of the snipers. It's like they're actually all together. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, so that's fine. I'll bring them in there. So that sort of gets me down fairly low. Just going to close that one for a second, and then we'll just unpause. So away we go. They'll now spawn in. Now, any movement at all, anything I see or am aware of, I'm going to stop and then react to it. So I'm going to wait for these guys to come in, and then we'll start to sort of prep what we're going to then go and do. So they're moving along the road. We've got arrows indicating this is where the enemy should be starting to sort of come from when they do come into support. We've also got Point Bravo as well. They're both sort of in this hill area. So we're going to be wanting to go in not with the bunker buster teams, but with the, as in the urban warfare, we are going to be wanting to make use of the more medium ranged guys, including the snipers that we actually have. All right, so far so good. I'll just pause. We got to this point without any real issues. I've got to be careful. I don't want to be losing all of these scout snipers if this Bradley gets suddenly hit. So I am going to take it up into here. I'm going to assume that that's actually okay to go. A few little things you can do in the game is to, if I double click, if I right click on a location, like if I right click for example here, I'm going to get a white dot with that one selected. It means it's going to go through sort of the most direct route, whether that's through, it's going to take a slow route there. If I go and double right click, it's going to turn to a green dot. I don't know if you saw that. Just have a watch again. So 3, 2, 1, bang. The second click is a green dot. It will then stay on the road and get there as fast as it can, which is sort of what I want it to do at this point in time. I'm going to keep the others back as well. I'm just going to go and I'll just go and double right click that one as well. And I'm just going to keep these Marine Raiders back just a little bit, and just I might just move them up to there. So if we just unpause, so they're now moving fast along the road. Again, we're just waiting for any sort of attack to come. Now, what I want this tank to do is to just sort of cover this area. So I'm just going to move it into this location. It looks like it's still safe, so we're going to now move this one up as well onto the road. Just keep it on the road and just keep this one sort of moving in with what it's actually doing. And at this point, I'm happy enough now to get my forces off here. You can see we're still going up at 250 per turn. Now got 500 points. So we're going to be needing to sort this out. Now, one of the other tools that we have available to us is the ability to use the Alt key to see what we can spot at different ranges. So if I'm here and press the left Alt key, I can look down along that road, but I can't look up into what's coming in. As I come along the road, I'm also hidden until I get on this ridge. At that point, it all opens up. So I know exactly where the point is where I'm going to need to sort of spot things. So that's a dangerous point because there's a lot of things that can see me. I'll be able to see a lot as well. So I need to get there in a hidden fashion. So if I move off the map, you can see I've now got I'm now in the tree line, and at this location I then get a couple of sort of areas that I can then sort of start to scout through that region, including back over here. Looks down that road. That one there looks into point A. So I can sort of keep in the tree line and actually look down into that area. Perfect for my snipers. So I think I'm going to sort of go and have a look at that one. Back on the other side, I have areas where I can't see anything at all, but then it starts to open up other ways once I bring them across. So I'm thinking 2 snipers this side, 1 sniper that side, and that should sort of then get us going. So I'm just going to go and grab one of the snipers. That's now off the vehicle. So I'm just going to grab one there, grab that sniper and move it up to there. I can go back to the vehicle again, get a second one, and actually I'll just wait for the other one to now move off a little bit. Okay, this one's now available. I'm going to tell it to move across to here, and then we'll move it up, and then finally the last one. I'm just going to go and get it off as well. So that one there, I'm just going to move that one across into this position. If I don't really want them firing on anything, I can just tell them to basically not fire. So I've got essentially, like I've got attack, I've got sprint, but I've got this return fire, essentially just stops them from firing if I do turn them off. And I think I'm just going to do that because I want them to spot, and I don't want them really being seen. If they do get seen at close range, I'll then have to deal with it. But let's now bring up the Marine Raiders. We know that we're pretty secure up until around about here. So I'll bring the Marine Raiders up this way in their vehicle. Now the Bradley, we do actually have these abilities. I'm going to bring it up as well into this area. So I'm just going to go and tell it to move across. I'll just do a double right click there, and it will then move along the road and then go off the road. And the Mark 1A, the M1A2, I'm just going to move that one up as well into this position. So it looks like we're going to be able to assault through here. We do actually have now points available. I need to be able to scout. So let's just quickly go across. We'll unpause. But it's very cool. The game looks gorgeous with what it actually does do. But I just need to watch. A lot of the multiplayer will be at this sort of range, but you can, because you can pause. I thought I just heard something. As if we're being attacked by something. I'm not seeing anything really coming in. I'm just going to move this one off the road. We do have sort of like just tree lines in through there. I'll move this one up into here, and we'll just sort of see how we go. So these guys are all now going to sort of start to move up. This one's still moving into its location, and the tank will also then just sort of take the actual road itself. It's now in the tree line. Whoa, okay, pause. We've been spotted by artillery, and we can sort of see there should be like a smoke trail of where the artillery is coming from. It must be over here near B. And so we've been seen, and we have to now be a bit careful. So there is actually an attack coming in from over this side. Do I have anything that can then go and match that? So if I go back into my support, that's 800 metres, 2,000 metres there, 2 kilometres. I could bring this one in to try to kill that particular thing off. This is mainly for smoke though. I've got the Shorad, which is got the Hellfires. That's not going to do it. This one here, the chain gun with the Stingers. Really, that's it. That's the only one I brought in that's actually got any sort of ability. Actually, sorry, this one here has got any sort of ability to take this one out. So I think I'll actually bring that one now into the onto the map. So I'm just going to bring one of those in, and I'm going to bring that one up to here. So I'm just going to go and tell it to go to there. So somehow we're being seen by something. Now there may be forces in the fields here that we'll actually be able to look at. We'll just sort of see what we can spot. But that was pretty much, that was very, very close to where we're operating. So this one happened to explode right where the Bradley was a little bit of time ago, and I'm expecting that they'll keep on firing with whatever they can actually then go and see. So I will bring that one across. Let's just go and wait for it. So I do have to be a bit careful. What we'll do is we can see there. You can see there's a bit of a smoke trail. It is coming from. Where is it? Right there. It looks like it's in here. So we're being spotted now. If I'm trying to see, okay, well, what can be spotting me from here? If I press the Alt key, I think we're looking at this. I think that's what we're actually sort of the problem we actually have is somewhere in there, and I'm going to need to get my snipers and things back across that side. I think what I'll do is I'm going to move this one back to this location. What I can do is I can tell it to reverse, and actually just tell it to reverse, move into there. This one here with the infantry, I will actually move this one up. I'm going to keep that one going to where I need it to go. I'm just going to double right click it to there, so it will then move across. And then with the marine raiders, I'm going to then move them off at that point and into the tree line and see if they can flush that out. Hopefully they'll find what they're looking for. If they happen to be on this side, we should be able to find them with our guys on this side anyway. It would most likely be infantry back in there, I'm thinking, but let's just sort of see what we end up with. We'll just get our tank back out of the way and just see if it can spot. All right, unpause. Whoa, we just took some damage there with these snipers. So that's a problem. I'm just going to keep that Bradley back that way. This is both. We lost a sniper from both groups there, or we certainly took damage from that particular one, and we don't know how they're seeing us just yet. This is where the game really is brilliant. Like it's just we've sort of got to figure out now. Okay, that's now an issue. We do need to get these guys fixed up, which means we're going to have to secure this little area before we do anything. We can't just go straight for this one here. We're going to need to find what's happening down along this side to cause these issues. I think we'll just send in some normal Marines and just get them to sweep through the city. So let's actually just go and do that, just in case they're spotting us from down below. So we'll just go back into infantry. I'll just get the reserve Marines. These can go in again on these type of things, but I want to keep them. So I'm just going to, on foot is not really great either, to be honest. We don't have a really good way of actually moving our forces around. I've still got one more of these raiders. These are my best. I think I'll actually bring another one of those in, and we'll actually just move them down into the city through here. Let's just go and move it there and just see what we end up getting. Okay, we'll just unpause. We'll just see if we can spot where it's coming from. Yeah, they're missing everything now. Ah, there we go. I just saw the puff. The puff is from here. I'll just go and pause that again. And so they're just trying to sort of saturate this area. With what we end up having through this other side, we've now moved into here with these Marine Raiders. I'm just going to pop the Marine Raiders out and get them to now move into the tree line. I'm just going to go and left click and tell them to sprint up into the trees. We've still got this transport. I'm going to tell the transport to go back home because we're not going to be needing it for anything else. So return to base. That's going to give us a little bit more points to then go and make use of ultimately. So they are tracking the tank back, and I don't mind that being the case. I want to protect these guys as much as I can. Let's just move these up so we can start to spot. Get those across into here. And so they won't have seen the snipers, but the snipers certainly got caught in the attack that came through. Let's just see if we can spot anything else. We'll just keep a bit of an eye on what's going on. But we do know that that's sort of like it's this location. I might just see if I can spot exactly where that's being fired from. Let's just see if we can do it. Nope, I'm not seeing it there. More explosions. They're now sprinting. I'm pretty sure it was there. I can't remember now if it was there or there. It was along that ridge. Let's have another look. Just see if it'll do another one. No, can't see it. What I might do is I might just add a marker back in through here. So I've got like different markers I can use for multiplayer, but I can also just use them for information as well. So I'm just going to go and drag a marker. If I go and click on it, I'm just going to put a marker there because I think that's where it actually is. If I'm playing multiplayer, that just allows me then to say, hey, there's something there. I think that's where it was, but I'm not 100% sure. There's a fire that's now started down this way. Okay, so we've got this one is now moved back far enough away that it's no longer triggering it. Okay, so let's actually use that as a guide. If we look at the alt, what can be seen? So that area that we're looking through there can be seen. It's actually the road. I think it's this road that is the trigger. Let's move our tank up to this railroad here, and just see if that then starts the force going there again. I'm just going to get it to look down that road and see if it ends up causing more issues that way. In the meantime, we're just going to move this one across into this position. So we'll sort of get that one moving through there. I can just tell it to fast move along the roads as well. So we'll just get it to fast move into there. So and that's the same as double right clicking. It should trigger another one. Yep. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Didn't see it fire. I'm not seeing it there. I'm going to move this one even further along. I think to here. Let's just move it up and just see if we can get it into this tree line to at least sort of start to operate from that location. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, we're right on there. That's fine. Okay, so we're now sort of seeing what we need to see, and it looks like it is firing down this road again at that location, but it may still be doing it from the previous time. We'll keep these moving along. We're not sort of getting targeted by anything else at this point in time. The snipers, let's just have a look and see what they can spot. Okay, so if we just go and Alt click. Whoops, gotta keep on using the shift. I just want to stop that. So yeah, they're certainly firing down into this region. I don't know if they can see the snipers. I don't think that would be the case. The Bradley, if we have a look to see where the Bradley actually is, it's completely hidden. These snipers can't see anything. That one there can't see anything just yet. That one can look down into the tree line, which is actually not too bad. So I might even just sort of leave that one where that is. We might use these raiders to start to now move up through the tree line here. If I do a shift click on this, I can then sort of put waypoints. So I'll just sort of go and do it that way, where they sort of then move along that tree line. See if we can sort of spot anything that way. We've got this vehicle will then sort of move off. This one's moving back. I think everything's. It may be that they were targeted from when this one was moving back out again. So the snipers, which have taken a bit of damage, we'll just go and position those there. Just have a quick look at the alt. Yeah, that's a good vision down that side. And then these snipers, I'm going to move them across this other side. I'm going to tell them to sprint across that roadway there. Oh, right. So we actually have a cornet back up the top here. So it's actually been targeted. It can sort of see different targets. It's going after my my artillery piece, which is a problem. And so I'm going to need to take it out. And I don't really have anything much that can actually fire at this one. So if we have a bit of a look at it, I can fire it with this guy here, who has now popped smoke. If we've no longer got any smoke left in this one, but we should be able to now take this guy out. So it's actually on the mountain here. It's 1,200 meters away, so it's actually too far for our weaponry. If I go and click on the actual weapon itself, I can then sort of see the detail as to what it will then be able to go and do. If I go and click on the actual weaponry, actually no, I can go up to 2 kilometers. It is a mortar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it. I can drop that mortar. I don't need to be out in the open like this. So if I go and see, okay, well, what can you see from there? If I press the Alt, it can look all the way down into that region, but it can't look on the other side. Well, it's somehow seeing across into here. This one as well should technically be hidden from it. If we just go and sort of try to line it up to see what it's actually, how it's firing at things. So they're on the mountain range. It may be that they fired and then we went behind the tree line. That could be what's actually happened through there. So they're actually on the top of the trees firing in at this particular unit. If I hug this area, instead of moving it back out into there, I should be able to then fire on them with the mortar. I'm just going to go and place another of my counters there because I'm now aware of where they are. So I'm just going to go and throw that on top of there. So I've now got 2 counters for the artillery. So let's go and move this guy forward. I think we're going to be okay to move it up. The game is incredibly good, like in what it actually does do. We've got 2 of these rockets firing in. Hopefully it won't be able to hit anything. So let's just go and we'll keep the tank where that is. I don't think the tank can be seen. I'm just going to move the tank back up into that tree line there a little bit. I'm going to keep the infantry just doing what it's doing, and then we still actually have these guys, which is sort of slowly moving their way along this road, which I'm actually happy enough for them to do that. And in fact, what I might do is actually just get them to just do a double right click to get them into the tree line there. Okay, so this one here, we need to move this one up in behind this ridge, back into here. And so we'll just quickly go and unpause again. Yeah, it's missing. It's getting ready to fire. Oh, hang on. It's now spotting this vehicle. So again, if we have a bit of a look, this has probably got very, very long range. I don't get to see, this is another thing I would love to be able to do, is to actually click on enemy units and see what their kit is. We can't do that. And so it's firing at this vehicle returning. If we have a quick look and see what it, I don't think it will show us. Yeah, it looks like we've had it. It possibly sees further than what we think. But we're going to be just going down below this ridge, which means that it should miss. Let's have a look and see. Smoke popped, and yet we're out of there. We no longer see where they are because we no longer have anything that can actually then go and spot it, but we know exactly where they were. So we're going to use this guy to then do a barrage, a fire mission, and I can do this in different ways. I'm going to actually hit this one. I can actually sort of extend the range or keep it very, very narrow. I'm just going to keep it around about there. This is 1 kilometre away. So let's go and fire at this one a little bit and just try to kill that one off using the mortars here. So we actually have the... we're just going to do a fire mission with the actual mortars themselves. So this is actually the artillery that we then end up having. That may be the ones that saw us that called this in, but I don't think so. Let's have a look and see what these guys can now see. Alt. That one's looking straight down there. This sniper. I need to get that one closer this way. I'll just move that one across. Sorry, the dog's barking yet again. Just left click again there, just Alt. I'm not anywhere where I'm getting good vision on anything, so let's just move that one across to there. These guys are still sweeping through to see what they can find. They'll be able to get on top of that mountain range. Actually, that was now disappeared from there. I do need to put that one back. I know where that one is now. I need to get to there. So I'll just leave that one alone. But we do actually now have our fire mission going in with this particular unit. So we do need to get security back through this particular zone. They certainly have the jump on us in around here. This is now getting into position as well. And but it's not able to see past the road. So popping the smoke there is fine. It will then go back and replenish its smoke. So that will just give it a little bit more survivability. Let's go and unpause again. This is now getting ready to fire. Here we are. Bang. They're firing down here. Now, let's just pause that. So they're firing again at this location. So it's the same group from over this side. We're already well and truly past there. So something saw us in here as well and reported that that was actually where they need to fire at. We're actually firing effectively into here. That possibly will do a good job there. Let's just get these guys now off. So we'll get them out of the actual truck itself. And we'll send the Marine Raiders. I'll just move them through the tree line up to this other area through here. Again, we're just looking at, yeah, it's right from in here. This is actually where we will need to, I'll see if I can pinpoint it this time, like absolutely directly, because I do need to, I need to do this. Sometimes there'll be a puff of smoke that's left over. Let's just see if we can spot it from here now. Ours is firing. Not seeing where they're coming from. Let's just go back a bit. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Here we go. We've actually got ourselves the start of a bit of an attack. So we have a group in here, sort of in like sort of a bit more hidden with what's actually happening. It's right on the side of that mountain there. I don't know what this group actually is. Can't actually isolate it to see. I'm assuming it's infantry. Okay, so we can actually, they're only 70 metres away. These guys will then get the jump on them, essentially these raiders. I'm just going to tell them to basically to take them out. So we've got like full penetration there. Hopefully we'll be able to do what we need to do, but that's actually going to be, that will be the ones that are reporting all of this. So that's actually, we did find, we guessed right, that is the group that we needed to get rid of. So that's one group gone, or hopefully would be one group gone. We should, I don't know how big this group actually is. So this, and again, I'm just not familiar with the Gross Streckles, what that actually is. I'm assuming it looks like mountaineering troops from what we can sort of see through there. So our raiders should be better quality. We'll just see what actually happens here and just see what, we're not going to be able to look at what's going on in the tree line itself. Yep, we're smashing them. Panicked. Yep, so we took a little bit of damage ourselves. Got 12 raiders left. We're now being hit. So we've now been struck again by whatever it is. There we go. We can see it exactly there. Actually, that was that tells us exactly where this thing actually is. I'm going to change back with my targeting and actually now go after this. Our raiders are now in danger of this artillery, so we'll just go and place another one of these. I'll just go and throw one of these markers in here. I can only have one of each different type. So that's where we're going. I'm going to assume that that is now being fulfilled. I'm going to now change this one with its fire mission. We've got 18 of these left. Fire mission, back up into here. Oh, this is out of range. So this is 2.3 kilometres away. So a bit too far for us to go and do it. So I'll just go and press escape. Actually, if I right click, that will then sort of cancel that one. Like there's no more orders. So I need to move this one up to then be able to do that when within 2 kilometres. So we're going to have to move along. Now taking that one out is now taken out, I think it's taken the eyes out from what the other one can then go and see. Let's just keep these raiders moving along. I'm going to now move this one back to home as well. There's no point keeping it out and about. We're back up to 800 points again. The tank itself is now back in through here. I think we can safely now move it up to that ridge. Keep that one going. And we'll move this one up as well because I don't think there's anything left to spot that can actually then sort of report on us essentially. So I'm going to double right click there just to try to get it on the road and then moving along. I'm half hoping that this particular blackened area is essentially going to be a dead team, but we'll find that out as we progress. So let's unpause the game again. Oh, hang on, these guys here. Oh, hang on, we do actually have another group. These are, I think that these are anti-air with what they actually have. So we're going to need to move these raiders. We've still got 9 of them. Let's move up. And so we're finding a lot of infantry back in through this other side. Let's just keep them firing. These guys here are going to be a problem until we can actually get on top of them. The sniper that we've got through here, I'm just still going to keep them watching what's happening down this particular area. And I do actually have the Bradley, which I'll just move up into the tree line there as well. This one is actually now moving through. I'm just going to double right click that one to get it moving quickly. And this one will now move down onto the road and then move up into position as well. Oh, here we go. We've actually now found ourselves just a small VDV group, which is sort of like their special forces. So this will be a small parachute group. But again, our raiders are our best units, and so they're going to smash those as well. So we are finding like a bit of a ring here now of infantry. I don't know if we'll find them back out through here. That may be the case. Let's just see how we go. This one is a bit of a problem, these Marine Raiders. Now, if I do lose them, what happens is they then go back into the pool, and it will then, if I go back to the infantry, if I do lose them completely, I'm going to, it will take a long time for them to come back. If I get them fairly badly wounded, I can then at least heal them up if I get supplies out. Now, at the moment, it's too dangerous for me to get supplies out and about, but I may be able to even transport them back if I have to, just to get them sort of healed up and ready to go. I can either bring them back to base or back to a location with supplies. It might be an idea for us to bring a supply point up to here. So if we go to our essentially our support group, I'm going to go with the small transport here, the 5,000. I'm just going to go and click on that one and then just get 5,000 worth of supply. So that will then be the one that we then go and pick, and I'm just going to go and tell it to go into this location. And we're going to drop that off there and try to make this a secure point in around this spot in through here. Both of my Marine Raiders will then need to be fixed up. Let's actually go with that one. So there are still infantry seeing everything. So this is a Verba. I think that's anti-air. I think it is. Which means that this one should be okay. It's just the artillery dropping on it that's the problem. And then we'll need to get it out of there as soon as it's taken care of, that particular group. Let's just see what happens with both of these. Yeah, we're smashing this. It's been panicked. We've still got it dropping around us. They've taken this one out. That's good. This one's now moving down the road. I'm going to keep that one moving up. And then we'll just leave that one where that is. I need this one destroyed. And I almost need to keep on seeing to see if there's anything else in this tree line. These guys are now starting to move around as well. We're not seeing anything else from back in through here, so potentially that has been destroyed. Here comes the transport coming back up to where we actually are. Come on, keep it going. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. We keep on finding more and more. So we've now got a cornet, which is an anti-tank. So we've got another anti-tank force down there. Now, do we get a shot? No, there's no line of sight. You can see there, it actually tells you on the map, there's an obstacle there which is stopping them from seeing it. And to be honest, I don't want that to go any further forward in that case. So I'm going to put this one back into the tree line so that can move into there. This one here, can you get a shot yet? Fire mission. Yes, we can. We can actually now do this one from this location. So let's actually go and do this one. We can actually then change what we have. We're going to use high explosive. Duration is only going to be a short salvo, I think. And we've got different things. We can actually sort of do a line targeting mode. We can sort of do a creeping barrage mode. But in this case, I'm just going to go and set a circle around this location, a little bit bigger, and that will be the salvo that we then go and fire from this location. So I don't think that can sort of see this guy here. There's no line of sight, but we would be able to still target it because it does drop. You can see there the combination of forces. It's very important to think this through to sort of be able to make the most of what you then end up having. This group here is really struggling. I do want to finish this one off before I take this one out. Now this group in here is going to be, it's a fair force, and you can see actually with we can tell sort of what's going on with this one. We are firing at it, I think. it may be firing at us. There's 2 that are anti-tank, and there's 3 that we can see there that are actually that have got rifles. Now we've still got 6 raiders left. I'm going to keep that going there, and then we'll switch around to this one here. So we'll we'll keep on moving. This one's 200 meters away. I think the cornets have a minimum range of 200 meters, so we're actually in a good position there. This group as well, these Marine Raiders, still got 12 left there of the 14. We'll just keep them creeping along, and then we'll move them across the road into this tree line as well. So we'll just control these areas. Let's keep it going. Let's just see what actually happens in here. Still got 6 raiders, nearly got them, okay. Now we go back, they're still firing at us, which is a problem. I need to now wipe this one out. So before I start to run away, I need to get rid of their eyes. It's the eyes that are the problem, because they can then report where we are, which is why they're able to do so much damage from all these different locations. We've got the our fire support will now start to go in. That should hopefully kill whatever's in there. And then hopefully this raider will be able to survive this next attack. So let's just see how we go. Down to 5 now. And we're taking too much damage. Let's get out of there. Down to 3. Now we're seeing, this is actually interesting. We've got infantry groups that are now moving across the field with what they've got. And so they're just small teams moving out. Perfect for our snipers to take them on. So I'm just going to allow them to return fire now. Return fire. There's nothing else we've seen that's dangerous in here, so we'll just allow all the snipers to be able to take these out. These are 400 meters away. We've got a 600 meter there, and we can again sort of see that our sniper rifles should be fine. If we have anything that doesn't quite go there, you can see there that the M38 doesn't actually reach that location. But from this one here, we do have both weapons. All the weapons actually do end up firing on that particular group, but the sniper rifles here do get the shot. Now we have an obstacle of the tree line there, but as they move out, we'll then get clear shots there as well. The Bradley, where it actually is, does have also clear shots from its current location. So I'm going to just try to double check its facing. Yeah, it's facing the right way. It will also then get shots with its weaponry. So you can see there it's no line of sight, but the M240 is not quite where it needs to be, but it's actually not too bad. Right, well, let's continue on with this, and hopefully these raiders, we've got 3 left, they need to get out of here. So I'm going to tell them to sprint now, just to try to run through the forest and get away from all of these. So let's just down to 3 still. They're moving out. They've panicked. We're hitting this with everything. These raiders are struggling now. They've actually now stopped with their sprint. They've then got to then catch their breath for 56 seconds. We've still got 3 of them left, which is actually not too bad. The sniper here, we actually do have shots now coming back in this side against these guys. Oh, that's an anti-tank, and it's actually now firing at us at the Bradley. Smoke has been popped, but we should be able to take this out again with our snipers. So it's now sort of seeing there's another cornet. So we still have the cornet back over here that we do need to get rid of. I'm going to move these Marine Raiders now up and into this tree line. So I'm just going to get them moving up because we've sort of cleared out that line there. We're still not seeing anything at all this way, even though the supplies are now on their way. Let's just keep it going. They're panicked. This is good, but the Bradley has now taken too much damage. Still down to 3 there. We're now outside of where that one was firing. I'm going to do another fire mission at that location again because it's still firing. Just hang on. Left click. Oh, that one just got destroyed by something. This one here. That's the cornet. So it actually took out our supplies. I'll just get them sprinting into the tree line. We are now firing on this location again, but it's still active. I think it was that cornet there that actually took out our supplies. Right, let's pause again because now we're in a bit of trouble. our Bradley has taken damage, and you can see there it's got damage to its optics. There's 4 different areas on the vehicles. You can see the optics is now a bit of a problem. I don't know if it'll show it in through there with what the actual issue is, but essentially our optics have been hit. The 4 areas that we have is optics, we have loading, we have I think it's the gun, and we then have the engine as well. So they're the different areas that can be damaged in vehicles. In this case, the optics of the Bradley is gone, but we did wipe out with our snipers the other forces that were dealing with that one. This guy's down to just 7 weapons left, 7 ammo left, which is not great. And we now need to. We've just lost one of our forces in through there, one of our support groups. So if we now go back across, we've still got 2 more of these. You can see there that we've got, like, there's a +1 and there's a cooldown next to it. It takes a long time for these to actually get back. I'm going to grab that again. I need to get these. I need to just keep them coming in. So I'm just going to go and click there, and we do need that to make it. So hopefully it'll find a way. It's such a cool game, this one. These raiders have done a great job. So there's still 9 of them left. I'm pretty safe, I think, to go up into this part of the tree line. So let's actually now move them up. These need to come back to where we think we're going to be able to then set everything else up. So we're going to sort of try to heal up all the units that need healing. The snipers will keep everything at bay down this way with what they can see. These raiders will also just make their way down. So we'll just pause again. I won't play for a dramatically long period of time. Whoa, that looked good. Now that looked good because it looks like we actually hit whatever was in there. We can sort of see stuff burning now. And it blew up there but did damage to that. So I think we're done. I think that has now been set, which is fantastic. Oh, here we go, here we go. Got this cornet, we need to destroy that. So they actually came, I don't know where they came from. That's a problem. So they're coming in behind us. Okay, in that case we need to oh, don't go up that way, don't go up that way. I need them to get off there, because that's too dangerous. It may have been that cornet there that actually took out the support group. So I'll just micromanage this one in. Now we actually need to get more forces to protect this zone back in through here. So this is looking a bit too dangerous now. We almost need to have forces in here just to sort of have a look. So we go back to our infantry. This is where we can start to make use of the reserve marines. So let's go, and we've got 3 of those forces back in there. Let's just go and grab them into here so they can just move their way across. We could risk sending stuff in by helicopter as well. I think if this one gets destroyed, I'll actually experiment and see if we can actually do that one with a helicopter, to a heli lift in with supplies and troops. But we'll just get this one into here and then just try to get a force to be able to then just at least look out across this side. Let's just keep this one coming. I'm just going to do a double right click there. We're just going to double right click to there. Will it make it? Will it get past where its friend was destroyed? Again, these are very, very weak. I'm not seeing any other movement. There's nothing, no other noise. I think we've killed off the artillery that was there before. So we have all these injured units that are just sitting around waiting. Okay, we've made it past there. I think that cornet that was there had come down this road. Here they come. Let's move that one up to there. Now, this one here, what I want it to do is to actually unload the supplies right here. Now, let's talk about the supplies and how supplies work in the game. Supplies do a number of different things. If I go and click on the supplies, if you're playing multiplayer, you can share with allies. You can sort of either decide to do that or not. So I don't have any allies, so it doesn't really matter. So I can share with allies, I can resupply. So that means that they can come and pick it up with their own vehicles and take it off somewhere else, or I can resupply allies. I can replenish ammunition, which I will need to do with some of these. I can make repairs and I can heal troops. So they're the different things. I need the Bradley to be repaired, so it now has to move into there. I need that sniper to be repaired, I need this radar to be repaired. So they're all going to have to move inside this circle. This particular supply can now go back home again. So I'm just going to tell it to go back to the base. This guy here is almost out of ammunition, so it needs to come in and grab the ammunition. Now imagine if they had eyes on this. That would be a disaster. So I need to sort of keep this guy in this forest just to stop anything from moving over through here. So we will eventually have to get that one fixed, but I'll wait for these Marine Raiders first because they can then see us resupplying in here. So this is quite a dangerous little zone. Let's just get these guys back up to where they were actually going to go. Oh, hang on, that's as far as we need to go there. Just get them off and set them up in there. That particular transport vehicle, I'm going to move it back home again, so it can just go back home, and that one will be heading home as well. So all of these, this one here has used up a little bit of its ammunition, but not much, not enough to warrant coming back in and getting resupplied. I'll just keep the forces that need to be fixed up. I'll get this supply, these snipers back in as well. So everything's now moving in. What we'll see is that they will then start to pick up the various repairs are now being done on the resupplying ammo, supplying ammo, putting up repairs. The Bradley is being repaired with what's going on through there. Marine Raiders getting health, coming back in. Still got one sniper just looking down that road. Got this guy back in through here, just protecting everything. This supplies are now dwindling away, which is fine. Supply, ammunition. So we've got a bit of work to do here. The Bradley is now ready to go, so it's actually now been completely resupplied. Let's now move it back up into here. So this is where the supply is very, very important, just to keep our forces sort of operational. That sniper is now ready to go as well. You get you back into where you were. I'll just move that one into there. This sniper is ready to go again. Let's move you back up into there. And this Marine Raider is taking a bit longer because it's a big force. It's up to 12 now. We just allow it to keep on getting its ammunition, keep on getting its units. And then we're going to switch over. And when this one's finished. Oh, pause. What's happening? Okay, we've actually been hit from behind. So we've been shocked. So these guys have come through. The game is incredibly good. Like it's actually, I should have had more protection back the other way. So they've actually come in with Typhoons. So they've got some smallish vehicles. I need to move this one back now to protect this zone. I've only got these guys sitting back in here, and they're not really geared for this, but they do actually have machine guns and things which should be able to do some damage. We've almost gotten this one, I think. That one there, it's ineffective, no damage essentially with what we're going to be firing at it with, but we'll see how we go. I'll just keep them back where they are. This one did make it back home again before these actually came around the corner, so I'm going to need even more troops in this zone here. I might heli lift them into here because I'm thinking that that's actually going to be fairly safe. So let's now go back to the heli pads. We'll go back to the King Stallion and through here. They're going to have different armor. Actually, no, they've got the same armor there. It's the same sort of deal, really. Let's just go this side. And we'll bring in, we need to bring in, again, I could bring in snipers, but I'm thinking all we do actually with this is just go and bring in the Marine Reserves. You can see there, I can get two of those sitting in the actual, in this one here. I'm just going to go and first just tell it to launch to here to start with, and then we'll just go the final little bit. So I'll just move it across that side to see if there's anything else we can sort of spot. And again, from a multiplayer perspective, you're going to be sort of sitting back a little bit with these. If we go back into our support, that one there is actually now has been fixed up. It's only a very, very inexpensive weapon. I might even bring a tank in, just to sort of help as well. So let's go and bring in our vehicles and just go to the big tanks. We haven't brought one of these in yet. Could even bring two of them in. So let's go and throw two of them into the mix and just put them on this ridge. And we'll just leave them on the back edge of that ridge for now. Okay, let's get our helicopter in here now. So the helicopter will spawn from there. There it is. I'm now going to tell it where to go. There goes the tanks. I'm going to tell it to transport down into this side. So I'm just going to tell it to go and drop its forces here. These Marines need to get away. Sprint. Hopefully it will escape. No, didn't make it. Now we got him. Now we got him. Yep, it's gone. Unfortunately, too late for that reserve, Marine reserves. The Marine reserves, as I said before, are really just there to plug gaps. These tanks can just sort of sit back in support for now until we're sort of ready to go. But you can see through here our everything else has actually been replenished. This one here, I don't want this one hovering around. It will sort of be able to spot things, but let's just get it back home again. And I can now bring those reserves back again just to sort of check the rear. It is such a beautiful game too. Like if we go and actually hover on this thing, oops, I can't quite get to it. Now I'm on it, so we can then sort of hover around it as it sort of heads back home. It's fantastic. What a great game. It just, oh, here we go. So we've got another problem here, and so this tank has actually spotted us. And is now firing on the flank of these tanks in through here. I need these to turn around and face down this side. So I'm just going to move them around. Hopefully we get away with this. So let's just go and see what happens. It's going to hit the side. This tank, extremely powerful from the front. The sides aren't too bad. We've got 180 and 600 back in through there with the armor. It's the top that's the problem in the rear. So we should be still okay with this. Let's just see what actually happens. So yeah, the enemy is moving up. We need to secure this much better than what I actually have. It's I'm not going to play for too much longer. I just wanted to sort of give you guys a feel for what the game is like. It's unbelievably good. Let's just watch what happens. Bang. Active protection kicked in. So we did actually use the active protection on that particular vehicle. I think it'll show us there if there's anything going on. That's the I think that's the active protection system. It's a 5-second cooldown. Now we do actually have I don't know if we can see that tank. It's now moved off to there. It's just out of range, so I can't actually take it. So this is actually where we do need to then use something that's going to have rockets. So I'll bring in yet another vehicle, and we do actually have this one through here, which is, we brought this one in because it's got 1600 with the track on wire, which was to start to be able to supplement these two tanks. So I'm just going to bring that one up to the ridge and see if it can do other things. I'm going to keep this one back in the buildings. I'll move it there because, or even there, just so we can spot anything that's coming along this ridge line. These Marine Raiders are now ready to go back again, so we can actually move them back up this way. I'm going to move these back now down to the supply area, and so that they can then get fixed up. So that was lucky. Like with this one, we did actually use the active armor there. Let's just go and unpause. Here it comes again. Active protection again. Active protection. We have taken some damage. Here comes another one as well. So we're seeing multiple now moving down this way, which is a problem. I do have a clear road down this other side as well. If we use this down there, we'll possibly sort of see what we need to see. Let's just go and do that. And I'll bring another one of those in as well. So I'll bring two of these. I'll just sort of keep them just off a little bit. Oops, hang on. I'm going to send this one back home, and I'm going to move this one down into the base, just so we don't have any targets for him. We're taking on these guys. T90, it's a big tank. There we go. We now got the targeting. It's now been shocked. And we have more things coming in this way. Another T90 there. Wow. The AI, oh wow, the AI is unbelievably good. This is great. This is awesome, actually. I mean, it's not good for me, but it's awesome. Are you going to be able to protect any of these guys? Maybe not. God, you got to be on your toes with this. It's yeah, that's just been wiped out. We do have our tank up in here. Let's just keep that one sort of now looking out that way. I'm just going to change its facing. There we go. We're now hitting this one with rockets. That one's now, we've locked out its loading system. Still firing. Still okay. Bang. Get home, you get home as well. Again, the last thing we want to be doing here is, I might just pop smoke. Too late with that one. Actually, I should have popped smoke when I was on the road. Oh, wow, there's a little cars now rushing down as well. I'm going to call this a loss, guys. I think I'll actually, because I don't want to play for too long. But that was that's great. Like I love seeing what the AI does in this game. It's very, very cool. Actually, I think we made it. I think we made it home. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed what this game has to offer. It's a brilliant game. I love it as a single player game. As I said before, I'll never ever play this multiplayer, but I love it as a single player game. And when they fix up those major errors or those major problems with not being able to save, like if I quit out of this one now, that's it. I can't get back in and pick it up from where I left it. That's a big issue. So they will fix it. I'm sure of that. It's not so. I don't hate the game. I just know that there will be things fixed. I know that that was the case because they patched a lot of things in, even when they just did the early release just a few days ago. So they've been working very hard on fixing the little issues. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this sort of content. I know it's gone on for a fairly long time, but there was a lot to cover. There's a lot of nuance in this game, a lot more nuance than it appears. I hope that if you're sort of on the fence about the game, thinking, is it for you, and you do like having the active pause, that this has actually allayed any fears you have about that. And it will be patched, it will be fixed. So so rest assured on that one as well. So I think it's going to be an awesomely good game over the years. So anyway, guys, going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.